This is Wilbur, and we're playing Mechabellum. Hey, this is Wilbur. We're trying something new. We're going to cast some low MMR games. I think right now the meta is something that I'm not enjoying. I think aggro is in a really bad spot after the last patch with the Raiden nerfs and the changes to tarantulas and jump drive wasps. It's really hard to play, so I'm not enjoying playing the game as much as I used to. So I think this is a fun way for me to continue to make content and help you kind of learn how to play the game by pointing out mistakes that low MMR players are making, kind of casting games and talking about decisions that are made that I disagree with, and what both players are kind of doing at the same time. So we got Pinoy Thunder down here as the red player and CPU Strange Logic as the blue player. We have... Doesn't look like CPU Logic has a ton of great options. I think Typhoon Specialist is best here. Sledgehammer Fang seems to be pretty okay, I think, right now. I think Tarantulas are horrible. Pinoy takes a pretty good starting pack. We get the Sabertooth Fang, and CPU Logic down here took the Tarantula Fang, which I think is one of the worst packs. I think... Well, he has chaff, so it's not the worst, but tarantulas are horrible right now. They lose to basically everything since the changes have been made to their techs and their starting HP, and the introduction of the Sabertooth as a starting unit. So all these things make tarantula starts kind of rough for the tarantula player. I'm going to jack up my graphics right now because we are on a little low side. So we have an asymmetric start over here from Pinoy Thunder. Or am I getting... Yeah, I think he's the top player, right? Yep. And then CPU Logic down here is taking kind of this middle defense with two backline crawlers to stop flanks. Pinoy grabbed two arc lights, which I think is pretty good, covering the weakness of the Sabertooth, which is chaff clear. And then CPU just investing in more chaff, which is probably a decent idea into these Sabertooths, but you really need DPS to kill these Sabertooths. Watch these Sabertooths just two-shot Tarantulas. This just makes me sad. It's probably my favorite unit in the game. And Sabertooths are his hardest counter. Maybe Stormcaller is our second place. So a pretty decisive win for Pinoy. Totally expected with the Sabertooth versus Tarantula start. Into round 2, we get Wasp Swarm, improved control system, and some other ones I didn't get to quite read. We have Wasp Swarm picked up by Pinoy, and improved firepower picked up by CPU. Improved firepower is pretty good on the Tarantula. I would probably slap it on there. But I think in this board state, the Wasp Swarm is what I would have picked. It looks like Pinoy is going for a defensive Wasp Swarm because he thinks CPU Logic is going to use it on him. Also investing in more Fangs. Maybe he's going to put those in the back to guard his backside. And then CPU Logic grabbing some Phantom Rays. Not a bad choice. Phantom Rays do very well into the Sabertooth. Sabertooths don't shoot up. However, Fangs do pose a problem for the Phantom Ray. If these Fangs manage to survive, those Phantom Rays are going to fall. Phantom Rays do not clear Fangs very well. So we two more groups of Fangs coming from Pinoy, and just the Crawler and the Phantom Ray from CPU. And Pinoy looks like he's going to pivot into the Fortress, grabbing that Fortress unlock with the Giant Specialist. Some kind of weird Fang deployments. I think Pinoy is absolutely terrified of this Wasp Swarm. Putting in 3 backline Fangs. Definitely, I think, an overkill. You're already doing the Wasp Swarm yourself. You probably could have gotten away with maybe 1 Fang in the Wasp Swarm here, and you'd have been fine. So, kind of 2 really delayed chaffs. I would have liked to see maybe Crawlers instead back there to help with the second layer chaff. So, we're going to have some naked Sabertooths because of that, with these really delayed Fangs. This guy is going to fall pretty quick, so these Phantom Rays are going to help break it down that Sabertooth line. Looks like we are going to get a tower take. That's probably going to net Pinoy this round from that Wasp Swarm. But I think we see that the Phantom Rays was a pretty good pivot. We'll see if Pinoy answers it with something of his own. But CPU's still on the back foot. I mean, Tarantulas are going to do that to you right now, so... Sticky Oil is probably the best here. Redeployment's also good. Photon Coating, fantastic for those Sabertooths. Sticky Oil picked up by CPU is probably a good pick. It's nice delaying these Sabers from locking in. Still didn't put the improved firepower system on the unit. This is just wasted money sitting here. If you're going to take this, you should deploy it as soon as you buy it. I think that's a mistake. CPU grabs the redeployment. Really versatile card, so I like picking that up. I think it's probably one of the best active items in the game. You get to use it every round, moving those units around. We do see the improved firepower finally coming down onto the Farce here that he got for free. Maybe that was his plan the whole time. I do like that on that unit as well. So I don't know what the actual MMR of these players are. I just know that their combat power was low, so we might actually be in a decently medium-ish MMR game. I don't think this is bottom of the barrel, but we are definitely not maybe above. If I had to guess, this is probably like 1200 MMR. I think this is starting to know how to play the game, but really not quite having full fundamental knowledge. So I would like CPU to put that oil down this round. There's no sense in holding it. If you use it this round, it's down for 2. Yeah, I really disagree with not using this round. You know, if you use it, you're probably going to get it back. In this game yet, it's only round 3, but now delaying it another round, you might not get 2 uses out of it. It's down for 2 rounds. You really need to get tempo back. You need to get levels on your units. We don't see a real true answer coming from Pinoy for the Phantom Rays, so a bit of a blunder by Pinoy here. These units do need to be answered as soon as they come down, because they can get out of control with levels. As soon as they start getting levels, all of a sudden you're taking things. Okay, he doesn't have armor. That's another mistake. So if you're going to play Phantom Ray, you want both shield and armor on your techs, because armor lets you defend your Phantom Rays, be useful against things like Mustangs, and then shield lets your Phantom Rays be useful against things like marksmen and phoenixes, as well as being shielded against things like the fortress's anti-air tech. So these Phantom Rays are going to be very easily countered by things like the Mustang. Looks like Pinoy is going to answer with some level 2 Phoenix using an active ability. The looks like, were these just offered free units? Oh, okay, this was a free unit round. My bad. Yeah, so we get some sludges from CPU Logic. Free unit card is the Phoenix for Pinoy. I thought he had used the Elite Recruit, but it doesn't look like it this round. So we have some levels on these Phantom Rays, which is great, but just, you know, these techs are not doing him any favors. With no shield tech, these Phantom Rays are going to just get eaten alive by these Phoenixes, unless for some reason CPU can win the Chaff War, which, I mean, there's 3 Arclights down right now versus 2 Tarantulas. I mean, he's got all these sludges over here. This is a weird deployment to me, too. Like, what are they doing way over there? Maybe put one over here. Be symmetrical here against a symmetrical board right now. Yeah. I guess he's trying to defend his Phantom Rays, but if that's the case, I'd move them up. I think the Phantom Rays are going to get in front of these sludges. Still no use of the oil. Don't know why we're holding oil. We see a anti-missile device come down. It's sort of effective against the Phantom Ray, but I think just with one of them, it's not enough of a commit to make much of a difference. I think this was a waste of resources this round. I think this Farce here is actually in a pretty good spot. We also have anti-missile on our Sabers now. That was a good tech pickup, yeah, but looks like it didn't matter too much. They died too fast over here. 2 of these Scorpions, we do see the tower get taken by this Arclight. So CPU turning this game around due to Pinoy, I think, maybe investing too much into the anti-missile. These Scorpions made quick work of a few of those Sabertooths. And when the saber-tooths are down, your anti-missile's down, so kind of rough there. Not a great tech for the saber-tooth because they're such an up-and-front unit. So we have both players take the shield drop. They don't go for the big red card, the big, I think it was EMP. EMPing, you know, all these saber-tooths with the anti-missile would have probably been really good for CPU, but he is trying to maintain his econ still. I can respect it. I think it's a good idea. We get a melting point unlocked from Pinoy. Maybe he sees these fan rays and thinks the melter is the answer. We also have some scorpions down that do lose to ranged melters. We are getting another unlock with the giant specialist, the Raiden. So Pinoy just walking through the giant list and grabbing all of the giant unlocks. I think he could have probably unlocked the crawler. These late fangs are kind of been way too late. I think crawlers would have been better back here. So if you're going to do 2 layers of fangs, I think these need to be up a little bit more. These are too far back. If you're going to play this far up with your initial board, this is too far back to make a difference. We are going into the fortress, so the first giant unlock is coming to fruition here. We finally get a shield. Well, still no oil deployment for some reason, but shield drop coming down. Really weird fortress placements, if that's what he's going for. Okay, now he goes over there. I think these forts, maybe one over here would have been better to attack these sledges. Like, forts do really well in sledgehammers, but now he has both forts kind of running at the scorpions. The scorpions are probably going to win that fight this round since one of them's level 2. They are pretty tough at level 2. Yeah, there goes the arc lights, so the chaff's going to get through. We see the bubble going down now. Down goes that saber-tooth. Our fan rays are starting to work on these, but we do take the tower is dropped by this big saber, so we lost our scorpions. This fortress is pretty much untouched. We have a pile of sledgehammers left that are going to eat through the fang chaff, so I think we're actually going to see the fan rays pull us off again. There's just not enough fangs down to take care of those phantom rays. Well, maybe this last pack of fangs is going to do it. All right, but we did get, I think CPU, we call that a win. Like, we got a lot of XP on units, but the fortresses, that one fort probably leveled. Yeah, it's level 2 now. So I think both players probably are okay with the result of that round. So we see a Wraith, Mustangs, Marksman, and Typhoon. I think I like the Mustangs here for both players. Just getting more chaff cleared down. Mustangs are also going to be great into these fan rays for Pinoy. And I think Pinoy just needs more chaff too, and the Mustangs are pseudo chaff. So we see range picked up on the Scorps. Our CPU Logic grabs the Typhoon, puts it way in the back with his fan rays. Kind of a weird deployment. The Wraith picked up by Pinoy. We're getting a double oil from CPU Logic. Finally using that. So if you remember right, I had said if you use the sticky oil on round 3, you'd probably get to reuse it. So the cooldowns were already around 3 rounds, so he would have gotten it back this turn and would have had the same outcome here if he had just used it. So definitely a misplay with the oil not being used. Some tempo could have been brought back. Our Wasp Swarm is back. We are getting a Shielded Fangs, which is amazing into Scorpions and into Phantom Rays. I think we'll see Pinoy pull off this round. There's just not enough DPS, I think, for the chaff here. When the Wraith is going to go down on this side too. The Wraith is probably not going to enjoy running into these Phantom Rays and this Typhoon. Some of this oil is going to be blocked though by these bubbles I can put down. But now these Scorpions are going to get to shoot a little bit longer than they normally, but look at how much these fangs are absorbing those Scorpion shots. But with the oil, it looks like these fangs might go down in time for these Scorpions to start getting on premier targets. We are starting to hit that level 2 fort before it's getting on to the Scorpion with the range upgrade. The Wraith's down, so it looks like CPU is actually going to do okay this round and win. But I fear that these shielded fangs might become too much for these scorpions eventually. And only making a pretty good investment into those fangs. You can see how fast the scorpion goes down once those fortresses get in range. But there is going to be quite a bit of damage going down on Pinoy this round with all those scorpions and medium units up. Let's see if Pinoy can turn things around. So we see intensive training picked up by CPU. We also get nuke and lightning storm offered. I think Pinoy needs to go for a nuke or the lightning storm here. One of the things I think you could also do is just put some shielded fangs down on the flank. So something like here, something like here. Maybe not here into the sledges, but definitely on this side, a shielded fang would pull a lot of, do a lot of good. I think selling out of this wraith, buying more fortresses. We have fang production picked up, and I think you really need range enhancement here to contest these ranged scorpions. So I think selling this wraith gets you quite a bit of money. Get a few more. We get a double tech instead of more forts. So usually you want to click rocket punch and fang production when you have a lot of fortresses. Like, these techs are not going to pay off until you have a lot of forts. So I think this is a misplay. I would have liked to seen 2 more forts down and then maybe one of these techs. And I think you could have did it this round with a rapid resupply and selling this wraith. I don't remember what the total amount of money is, but 2 fortresses is 400, and then the tech would have been like 13. So I think that's not unreasonable. We do get to redeploy, so this big fort is going to get pretty good access into these sledges, but also this nuke is coming down. So this nuke is going to take care of all these units. So maybe he's looking to pop this tower with his units after the nuke falls. I think this is a pretty decent play. We do take care of that shield. So this tower is going to fall quickly. It looks like Pinoy is going to get this round, I think, pretty easily. Oh, we also have oil tech, looks like, on those phantom rays. So this fortress is going to be completely out of this round. But I think just with these phoenixes and this next tower pop, these are all going to go down here. So Pinoy turning the tempo back with the nuke, buying himself another round. He is going to be down some money from CPU Logic, who just threw down units last round. But now the oil is gone on the front, so those units are going to be able to get in faster, those fortresses and those fangs. Pinoy grabbing the big rhino as well. CPU again is offered the Mustangs here. I think you really need the Mustangs to get through these fangs, but he takes the large rhino and sells it. Or did he sell it? It just moved to a flank. It is sold. No, it is put in the front line with detonate. I have a feeling this is gonna go pretty bad. I think maybe he'll get the Sabertooth and the Arclight. It's gonna, like, this rhino is just gonna get stuck on these fangs. We still see nothing being sold from Pinoy. He's kept the Wraith. Now we see the fortresses starting to spread around. We get 4 fortresses now. Still no crawlers on Pinoy's side of the map. This forest here has never been leveled. That has the improved firepower system. That's a bit of a misplay too. Usually if you give units items, you're going to want to level those units. So let's watch this detonate. So we do pop 2 bubbles, but the fortresses take no damage, and we didn't even kill this Arclight. Our Scorpions got siege mode, which I think is a bit of a meme tech, especially into this board that is going to be up in your face pretty fast. You want those, you really want those Scorpions firing as fast and as often as possible. Like, your opponent does have shielded fangs as well. So I think this was a bad move by CPU. The Scorpion's DPS goes down in exchange for range. So I was way off on my MMR here. We have a 753 from Pinoy and 861 from CPU. So I rated these guys a little bit higher than they were. So yeah, I think the Explodey Rhino was a bad idea. The Mustangs last round would have been a big help, clearing these fangs so that the Scorpions can get onto those premier targets, those fortresses, and these Scorpions. I think Pinoy could have dropped the Wraith in exchange for more money and more fortress deployments. You could also start selling out of these Sabertooths and just grabbing more fortresses. I think more fortresses the better. Adding Fangs to the flank to distract these units with the Fang shield would have been great. Yeah, CPU just investing, I think, into this siege mode was pretty magoo. I think the sticky oil was okay. Leveling was fine. We have anti-air on the Typhoon for the Wraith and the Phoenix. I think maybe this was a bit of an overbuy for a single Typhoon. I think maybe just simply grabbing a couple of marksmen over here with anti-air would have been better. Maybe even selling the Typhoon. I think at the end of the day, CPU really desperately needed Mustangs to contest this board. He simply just did not make good unit choices here. The holding on to the oil till round 6 that he had gotten on round 3 was a mistake. That should have been deployed as soon as you got it. Like, if you don't use stuff in Mechabellum, it's basically just wasted money, right? This was also becoming wasted money. This unit that got the item that never got leveled, this unit could have carried the side of the board, I think, up against the units that were here. If it was leveled, like a leveled Farseer is going to beat a leveled Sabertooth without double shot, especially with an item. So, yeah, a lot of mistakes by CPU. I think some mistakes by Pinoy, mostly just how he utilized his money. I think the Phoenixes were a great counter into the Phantom Ray. I think the Phantom Ray techs were pretty bad. Fortresses techs are fine. These are the only techs that Sabertooth can have. I did like the portable shield on the Fang. I did not like the super deep late Fangs. Like maybe another Fang here in front of the tower and Fang here, and then the rest crawlers in the back, if you wanted to go that route. So, yeah, I hope you liked the cast of a low MMR game and things that I would have did differently, and perspectives for both players of what they could have done to have eked out more advantage in this game. And I think the nuke from Pinoy was maybe another pivot point because he got tempo back. I think CPU was doing pretty good up until that point. So, all right, we'll see you guys on the next game. I hope you enjoyed what I'm going to call Mechabellum Mayhem. Low MMR games. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
We have quite the selection for you here. 2 Mechabellum videos just for you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. Watch out for flanks coming your way.